Today's code challenge is collision course. Problem description. On a busy road, multiple cars are passing by. A simulation is run to see what happens if brakes fail for all cars on the road. The only way for them to be safe is if they don't collide and pass by each other. The goal is to identify whether any of the given cars would collide or pass by each other safely around a roundabout. Think of this as a reference point O, origin with coordinates 0, 0, but instead of going around it, cars pass through it. Considering that each car is moving in a straight line towards the origin with individual uniform speed, cars will continue to travel in that same straight line even after crossing origin. Calculate the number of collisions that will happen in such a scenario. Note, calculate collisions only at origin. Ignore the other collisions. Assume that each car continues on its respective path even after the collision without change of direction or speed for an infinite distance.
So let's start. So for doing the following for challenge, we have to use a module named math. So as the first line contains an integer c denoting the number of the cars being considered that are passing by round the origin around the origin. So let us create a variable named c, taking a value of n, taking a value from the input. Now the next C lines contain and means next C line contains a three space determined value for first two of them being the position coordinate in 2D space and the third one is the speed. So for that we have to implement a for loop. Now we need variable x, y for the coordinate position and v for the speed. We are using map function map the to take the multiple input in a single line. So we have got the coordinate in the speeds. So now, as the question says, we have to calculate the number of collisions that that occurs at the origin by taking the reference point O as an origin. So for that we have to calculate the distance. Distance will be equal to the as the x x2 is x1. X1 is the origin point. So the value of x1 will be 0. So it's not need to be implement that value. So we are writing value by direct using x only without taking the x1 and x2. And similarly with y also. By this, we have calculated the distance. So, so now we have to calculate the collision number of collisions. So for that, if the car having this we having the speed of the car and the distance traveled by the car till the origin. So if the time taken by the car to travel from the specified point position or to the origin is will be is equal to the another car, then it's obvious that the car get collides. So for that we have to calculate the time to find out the which one of the car will collide with each other. So for that we have to calculate the time. So for calculating time, what is the time is equal to distance upon speed. So we have calculated the time. Now we need to add this time to a list. For that we create a list of data. Data is equal to empty list. So when we will complete with the calculating the time, we will update the time into the data list. So data dot update append time t. So in such a way we have got the times which was taken by all the cars to reach the origin from their specified positions. So now let us now we have to calculate the number of the cars which having the same, or the frequency of the cars which having the same time. So for that we have to create a frequency calculator. Let us create all frequency for holding the frequency of all the cars in a list dictionary. For that we have created a empty dictionary. Now for in data, if so if in the dictionary, then we need to add its value. So for that by one, and else its value will be increased. Its value given will be implemented to 1, as it's repeated in the frequency of the car at the ferns. So we have calculated the number of the frequencies, and last we have to calculate. So now we have to calculate the number of the total number of collision. So we will implement the So for that we will implement the number of the collision equal to 0, and we'll take a for loop. So as as we know as we know the cars will collide if the number of the cars will be greater than the 2. If the number of the cars will be greater than the 2, so for that for that we will implement the condition if value will be greater than or equal to 2, it will come inside, and the number of a collision will increase math but factorial of value divided by math dot factorial of 2 into math dot factorial of value minus 2. The value will be of integer type. In such a way we will got the value of the collision. So in last we will print the value of the collision. So in such a way we can form this code challenge. Let us check the code. As there are 5 cars having coordinate 5 by 12, 5 comma 12, and speed 1, and the another car have the coordinates 16, 63 in the speed 5, and another coordinate, the third one car is minus 10, 24, the speed will be 2, and the fourth one car having coordinate 7, comma 24 with the speed 2, and the last one car having the coordinate minus 24, comma 7 with the speed 2. So as you can see, the number of the collision will be equal to 4 as was given in the test cases. So in such a way we can proceed for this code challenge.